Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I say welcome back, you guys have been here waiting patiently for me. I'm the one that is back. There's been a lot going on, as always in life there is, and I haven't really felt I had the time or the inclination to be creating YouTube videos, time consuming, all the rest of it. But I do have some news to share, and the title of this video will have given that away. But I have been and bought a horse, and I wanted to share that with you because I wanted you guys to get the opportunity to know about it, and then also to come over to Instagram and learn about her with me, which is where I have been sharing most of the content with her. Her name is Blondie, and she is a 17-hand Belgian warm blood by a stallion called Enar C, who is out of a very famous stallion called Quidam de Revel. She is 7 years old. She is chestnut with a flaxen mane and tail. I'm looking at her right now as I describe her. She has 2 white socks and a lot of emotional baggage. When I bought her, she had actually had 5 homes in the month before I bought her. She actually had a lovely home prior to that and a lovely home before that too, but then there was this gap where she got passed around between quite a few different dealers in the UK, each one saying tricky horse, good one to make some money on, tricky horse, good one to make some money on. So here we are. She turned up at one, and then I saw her advert. My friend sent it to me and said, is this the horse I think it is? Because a bit of history between Blondie and I knew Blondie. If you've been here for a while, you'll know Blondie too. I had her for training a few years ago, when I first moved to this yard actually, and she was tricky then, and I think it's still tricky now. I actually haven't even started riding her yet. In this video I will put in what I have been doing and I will voice over it so you guys get an opportunity to see what I have been doing. But she is definitely complicated and has some stuff to let go of, some tension to peel off. So I've just been learning about her really over the last few weeks. I've owned her 3 weeks now. We've changed her diet, so she's on just a very basic fibre-based diet with some fat involved in it. So I feed her the Equa diet, which is chaff and chia seed omega-3. So it's like a really good basis in their gut. It involves a lot of water, so it's very good for them to be healthy on the inside, essentially. She's also on a couple of supplements. I know from her past that she has struggled with her hormones, so I'm feeding her the Sassy Mare from Premier Performance, which has so far helped her hormones stay on a level. She's not come into season or anything like that, so I'm really pleased with that so far. And then I've also put her on the Gastro Premier from Premier Performance. I'm very fortunate to be gifted those items and have the opportunity to give Blondie the best I can from the inside, because I work with Premier Performance, so I'm very fortunate in that. But the difference in her already has been huge. She has been feeling much better in her body, no question. What else have I been doing? The groundwork we've been doing, I've been learning about her a lot, doing a lot of work actually loose, which is what we are currently doing. I mean, she's currently just moseying about on her own, having a lovely time. But yeah, so that is the story so far. She is bred to show jump, so, you know, long-term goals, I suppose, will be to be able to go show jumping again. But for the time being, just letting her have some downtime. Quite interestingly, the farrier was here yesterday, and we took her shoes off. She had some shoes on that didn't fit great. They were quite small, and we took those off, and so she is now barefoot. And actually I brought her out this morning and I think she looks a bit footsore, so I'm quite interested in that. Maybe I will get the vet involved at this point now and look into that. So Blondie's sort of go-to would be to be nappy or slow and not want to go forward. When I worked with her a few years ago, it was more down to being quite shut down. She had been backed in a bit of a hurry. Well, I don't know, that's not necessarily true. That's just my observation of it. But we took it right back, and I worked with her very slowly previously. And we sort of broke it down, and I rebacked her essentially, and did get her going really successfully. She was very happily going around the arena, so that was great. Hi there. You want to come be in the video, sweetheart? Hi. Do you want to come and meet YouTube? She's really, she's very, very highly intelligent, and she knows exactly what she does and doesn't want. And she has built up a defense mechanism where she can essentially protect herself. And it's really interesting, if you go to do something too quickly, she's not keen. So like when we had the dentist, see ya, we were very mindful that we went at her speed. So Martin spent some time with her, just stroking her, just being quiet with her, not having any expectation of what we were going to do. You know, I'd already said to him, we might not be able to grasp her teeth today. We might just have to spend some time with her, maybe put the gag on, take the gag off, that kind of thing. But actually, with some time and some steadiness, we were able to do her a really good job of her teeth that day. And the thing is so like her teeth were very bad. They would have slid together that way, but not that way. So like down, her mouth wouldn't have moved in that direction. And that's quite important. So lots of things have been kind of jammed up for her. She's also got a rash on her body. I'll take you to see her and show you it. Excuse me, madam, can I show everyone your... Oh, you're gonna have a roll? Or are you just digging a hole? Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna come and show everyone your rash. So you can see across her body, she's got these little imperfections in her skin, all down her shoulder. And so we have been trying really hard to get that under control. I've given her a liver detox supplement from Trinity Consultants as well, which so far I think has been really beneficial. I think she might also be allergic to some of the bedding, so we've put her only onto wood chip, like wood light shavings. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. I'm really interested about whether she's going to become footsore, because if that is the case, then we either need to shoe her correctively as such, or strengthen her feet. So I'm going to head into now all of the videos of the things I have been doing with Blondie over the last 3 weeks. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for being here. Here she is, beautiful Blondie blondes. She likes caramel cookies, so she can stay. Nice. Oh.
Dogs, come here. Here.
Do you remember this place?
Flex it, flex it.
Oh, no. Come on, big lady.
Maybe she was allergic to the clipper oil that they used.
Maybe they did just clip her, so. You're much friendlier than you were before. Someone's been nice to you for a while.
Myself. There's so much space. Look at my lovely trot. Good girls. Peggy's so laid back, she just doesn't pick up on
It's
anyone.
all about the grass.
Yeah. Benefit of fat ponies. No? Yeah, that'll be alright.
So this was the first interaction that I had with Blondie in the arena, and I wanted to make it a session that had freedom, and I was so intrigued how with me she wanted to be. This is a horse that hasn't had an easy time. When I trained her before, she was owned by my friend, and my friend basically trusted me to reback her and got her going and did an amazing job, and she did go and jump and do lovely things, but she was always still quite tricky and defensive, and it was kind of never quite got that feeling of like happy horse. It was always a little bit on the back foot. So now that I'm given this opportunity to start again with Blondie, I'm really mindful that I want her to want to do everything that we ask her, you know, the tail swishing. I really hope that will stop one day. I hope that isn't there all the time, because there are times when she doesn't do it. But this, for me, this initial interaction was so huge. I couldn't believe how with me she wanted to be. Bear in mind, she'd been with us for 5 days or so. She had just been in the field every day. I was away for the first few days, so that was Meg and Charlie turning her out without me on the first day. But I just couldn't believe that I let her go, and she wanted to stay with me, that a human was providing her with safety. I think I was very lucky that she spent such a short period of time being passed around, because she was owned by my friend and she had a lovely time. She was then owned by a lovely girl that did her absolute best by her, but Blondie was a lot of horse for her, and I've spoken to her and she's told me a bit about her, and you know, told me that she had some veterinary investigation done and everything came back good. So, and then there was someone else who also I've spoken to, who also is very kind, never laid a hand on her, was always just struggled with her being big and tricky. And then circumstances change and people have to pass horses along, and that was where the cycle began, where she had a difficult time. I know of 3 places, but there's a big grey patch in the middle where I think she was passed twice more, and it's just a shame, because lots of people thought they could make money or whatever, or didn't know what to do with her in that gap in between. So I was lucky to find her when I did, and here we are, essentially. So yeah, in this first session I just was being kind and letting her come with me and letting her interact with me. I wasn't giving her too much guidance. I just wanted to kind of almost play and, you know, see if she wanted to go forward, see if she wanted to go with me. And he's kind of sassy, but also kind of, yes, I do want to go with you. I do want to interact. I do want to play. Why are you running, human? Why are you doing this? This horse is something very special, and I was so sad when previously I wasn't in a position to buy her. I'd actually just bought Zora when Blondie came for training before, so it just wasn't the right time for me back then. So this was our initial interaction. You can see I've lost her attention now, but I do bring it back. So I'll cut forward to that bit. Hang on. So I'd lost her to the field, and then I just made a very quiet click, and then she came back to me, and I could draw her to me. She licked, she chewed, and then she approached. And touch for Blondie was really a problem when I knew her before. Touching her body, she was very defensive, whereas here, I'm scratching her, she's scratching me. This is enormous for me and her. I was in awe of her this day. I was so amazed by how kind and generous she was being with her time and how much she was willing to give to me. Yeah, a very special moment, no doubt about that.
to have her want to give me a kiss was really, really quite something. I'm very connected with her. I feel there's lots about her that are very similar to me. I carry a lot of tension through my sternum and my chest, and she is the exact same. Interestingly, over the time when I bought her, I got quite bad eczema, and she has obviously got skin, you know, stuff going on with her skin, and yeah, very unhappy about me touching the right side of her face there, so I just left that be and didn't push it. It's the good thing about when they're loose, you know, you kind of can't push it because they just take themselves away from you. But going back to this connection, this horse has come for a reason. She has come to me and I have accepted her as such, and I can't wait for where this will go, and I have big hopes, of course, for big jumps and all the rest of it, but for now I'm just in awe of the connection that we are creating. So this was session 1. So now let's skip forward to our first groundwork session that we had. So this is a short clip that I have from a session with Claire. So I wanted to have a lesson with Claire as soon as I could. I wanted Claire's take on her. Claire is my coach, Claire is my mentor, Claire is my friend, and she maybe thought I was mildly mad when I said I'd bought her, but she knew her before. She helped me with her in 2019. So we had an understanding. And it was really interesting. This is actually right at the end of the session. So we were helping Blondie find the outside of her body, as you saw there. And then also about taking her front legs away and apart from each other. You know, I was saying how that Blondie has tension in her sternum. Well, oh no, sorry, I have tension in my sternum. So does Blondie. Her chest is very tight through the middle. So we were working on creating openness and forwardness through the stride. And you can see the tail and the resistance is there all the time. But actually the steps she was taking were better and better. So this was one of our first groundwork sessions. Annoyingly, I had tried to video my very first session and Blondie was very defensive, very stopping, refusing to go forwards. But the camera all went a bit wrong, so I didn't get that on film. So this was actually after some really good work.
Blondie's first banana. La banana? Banana's not so bad.
I really hope you enjoyed Banana Cam. I don't know why that video, I really love it so much. I think it's the way she's just looking around and then has a bit of banana and then carries on. This is Blondie's first bath. And it's quite interesting, she was really, really sensitive on her left side. So she'd only been on those supplements I was talking about, the right side even. Only been on those supplements for a few days at this point. So it's quite interesting, and I'll show you something towards the end about actually her sensitivity has changed massively. But you'll see she lifts a leg at me, she's a bit like, kind of like, yeah, no thank you for a bath. And I'm obviously a bit mindful. I did hear a story that she maybe broke somebody's leg last year from kicking them. So I'm very mindful when I'm handling her to, like, just be careful with her. Because yeah, you see, very sensitive to touch through that portion of her body. And I was really mindful that I wanted to help her skin by giving her a bath, and the weather was nice and warm, but equally the drips and, you know, the sensitivity on her body was quite evident, so I was being very careful. She kind of hit her head in the stable, which I think was, you know, something meaningful in itself, kind of saying, oh yeah, okay, I'll tolerate this, but bury my head in the sand kind of feeling. So yeah, I had to wash this part of her. There was, like, you know, the rash was quite bad there. But I was being very mindful that obviously that was uncomfortable. And so I was just very gentle with my hands in that area. So, first long lining experience for her in a while. I had the long line threaded through the bit and to the roller. I find this makes a really nice open shape I talk about this over on my Patreon page. Actually, there's lots of videos and stuff over there where you can learn more about this way of going. But I really wanted to do some work in inverted commas. I wanted to see how she was moving. I wanted to see if I was worried about any part of her body particularly. But actually, I was really, really surprised. She was so positive and forward. I think she kind of liked the structure of wearing some tack. It was really interesting. I didn't do very much because she's not very fit, but I was really happy with how she was responding and, you know, being actively forward, smile on her face, not too swishing in the tail, just generally finding her way and being really positive about it. So it was a really positive session. So I've been factoring in some long lining kind of once a week to up her fitness and get her feeling, yeah, good and happy about the work, because like I said, I want her to feel confident in everything and not just that the groundwork is maybe difficult for her at the moment. So here we have a little groundwork session, just my phone propped on the fence. Kind of wanted to keep taking check-in videos with her. So I was really aware that she finds going backwards quite difficult. So we're not doing very much of that. It's about a little bit, pushing a little bit, and then giving her something easier to do. Doing something difficult, doing something easy. This is how we are going to help this horse start to feel better. And I take the turning hind leg. So if you want to learn more about this groundwork that I'm doing, I am going to be sharing these whole sessions with Blondie on my Patreon page, on my online training platform. Video 1 is up now already, and video 2 will be going up this coming week. So I won't explain everything that I'm doing because it's very in-depth and it's quite complex. But in essence, the groundwork is for Blondie a way of unlocking tension, a way of unlocking her body and the feelings that she has within it. She is defensive and sensitive, and I need her to understand she doesn't need that here. She doesn't need to defend herself from me. I'm not going to hurt her or challenge her. I just want her to understand that she can feel better. Her body is like Pandora's box. It's so tight and tense. She could hardly bend her neck when I first took turning hind leg. She was so blocked. So what I'm doing is encouraging her to find the outside of her body. It's a bit like she can only feel the inside where I'm standing. She can't feel the outside, so the right side at this point. And you'll see in this video, as in throughout the clips that I show you, that there is some huge improvements that she makes and some huge releases that she takes too. Some more free time. Very interactive on this day. Much more active, forward, wanting to be part of what we were doing. I could kind of encourage the energy up a little bit and really run with her, and she was much more with me and much more willing to play. You know, she would kind of move like this, and she started to look freer in her body too, which was great to see. And then she'd come back and be like, hey, what are we doing? Apologies for the slightly terrible video quality here. I just put my phone up and then zoomed in because it's a bit far away. But really interesting. So I did some more work on the long lines, and I asked her for some canter, and I want to show you guys this canter because it's pretty wobbly. She's very big, and she really will have only just stopped growing. She's 6 going 7 as such. She's not actually 7 yet. She's actually 7 3 days after my birthday, so we're going to have some birthday cake together, which I look forward to very much. But the canter is remarkably green for her size, and as you can see, she does some jazzy stuff when asked on this left rein. Actually, the canter on the right was better. She didn't find it so difficult. So this is a bit of feedback for me, making, seeing where the canter is weak and what she finds difficult. I don't think she was kind of playing too much here. I think she was probably feeling like, God, it's a bit hard and kind of frustrated. But I want to put this in because this is a reference point, right? I want to show you guys so that then in 3 months' time, we can see how wonderful and amazing she is. I mean, she's wonderful and amazing already, but you get my drift. How much more wonderful and amazing she will be. So yes, this was long lining during week 2, I think. So not bad, but a bit fun. Still got the long lines in the same setup, so the inside one is to the roller through the bit, and then the outside one is just a guide bit roller to my hand. So yes, that is the Canter at the moment. It is getting better and she's working hard, but I am mindful that she finds that very, very difficult at the moment. So another way that I have been helping Blondie to unravel is through the Masterson method. Now, I'm very fortunate. I have a wonderful lady called Sam who does the Masterson method with my horses. She comes on a regular basis. The Masterson method is a very horse-led body treatment. It's all about acupressure and letting the horse tell you and listening to their body cues and really being very, very aware of them. Now, something very simple that I have been doing with Blondie is doing some work with the bladder meridian. So the bladder meridian is a acupressure, sort of an energy pathway that runs over the top of their eye, over the poll, along the top of their neck, atop of their back, all the way down the hind leg into the foot. And we can bring awareness to it and therefore bring awareness to the rest of their body just by running our hand over it. So that's what I'm doing in this video here. And you saw a moment ago there was a big release, a big licking and chewing. But it's interesting, when she takes herself away from me, if I can't reach, I don't keep my hand on her body. I take my hand away. Now, I think if you want to learn more about this in a more in-depth way, then head over to the Masterson Method website. I'll put the link in the description below, and you can do some reading about it and do some learning about it yourself. So there was a point in Blondie's neck here where she was quite struggling to let go, and actually it makes me yawn looking at it. I was really yawning at the time. Sorry if it's made you yawn now. But it was so interesting. I would start at the pole and run my hand back, and I'd get to a point sort of a foot away from her ears or half a foot away from her ears, and she would start blinking differently, licking a little bit. And so in this moment, in a moment, you will see she does actually yawn, stretch, and find a really big release, which was lovely to see. It's a way of helping her find awareness. It's also a way of showing her that I am listening. So important that she knows that I am listening to her body, that she can tell me where the tension is, and then I can just bring some awareness to that area and help her unravel some of her tension. So here I got to a point just behind the wither. She kept bringing herself around to me, telling me, kind of putting her nose on me, and I just stay there. There's no pressure on my hand. It's just an awareness of my hand touching her. So it's like saying, I hear you. I hear that there is tension, and then she can let go of that. She can release that and let go of that in her body. It's hard not to yawn when I'm watching this, because it's all I can think about is that lovely release that she was feeling in herself. Yawning, stretching, letting go. Yawning for horses is such a huge thing, such a big safety. They have to feel so safe to be able to yawn. And you see then she says, okay, that's enough. And this is heavy work for her, not easy for her, you know. So I go back a little bit, just feeling in her body. And yeah, it's really interesting to do this work with her because she's so blocked in herself. It's like she hasn't listened to herself in a long time. So that's some of the other work that I am doing with Blondie at the moment. This is a crap bit of video, hang on. And along with the LTS, so this was the first time actually that she had worn the LTS. So you can see here, I'm just bringing my awareness to the pole, but she's also got the heat pad on her back, which is the LED light and infrared and blue light, so it's healing and it's very therapeutic for the muscles, so helping her let go. And then just bringing some awareness to her poll. You can see her muzzle is very soft, her blinking is very, very slow and gentle. She actually finds letting go in her body in the tension harder in her stable than she did out in the arena. She's actually moved stables now into the barn. This stable was not as big as it was. It was the only stable I had at the time, but it's not as big as it could be. So now she's opposite Indy in the barn, which is nice. But just taking so much time, not to try and train her or make her anything, but just to learn about her at the moment, just to take time with her and learn, you know. These little releases that she is giving are actually huge. For her to be this soft is enormous for her. It's a, you know, a place she hasn't been for a long time in her body, which is lovely to be able to help her with, building a bond. And now this is where we have got to with the groundwork. So you can see that the movement is much more forward. She is softer in a lot of ways. And she is getting there with being more accepting of my presence. So you notice here there is less of the kind of stampy feet feeling. The tail still swishing, unfortunately, and I hope that maybe through the supplements and the feed and everything that we can help her let go of that. I just want to tell her that she doesn't need to anymore. You don't need to swish your tail. You don't need to tell me. But the rest and the softness that she is beginning to find is so enormous. So this is the pattern that she needs to be practicing the most. And you can see the change from the beginning to now. She's able to take the legs more apart. And actually I was doing some, and I'll hopefully have a little clip of that here, where I'm showing her what I want her to do. So I'm actually like stepping my leg wider and across in front of her to show her how I want her to use her body. It's so interesting that, you know, we can show them through our body language how we want them to be. And so often we do that subconsciously without realizing. We hold our jaw, you know, hold tension somewhere. And we then impart that onto them. But we can do that in a positive way too. Why not? We can create the softness within ourselves to then do that with them. And like I'm doing a lot of, I'm making sure my breathing is very soft and gentle when I'm coming through the groundwork patterns with her. You can see here I'm going through that same pattern that I went through at the beginning to create that softness and finding of the outside of her body. You can see how much rest and relaxation that is creating. So by repeating these simple patterns, when she gives a better, softer response, I stop asking. She learns that that is a good place to be, and that is where it leaves her feeling nice. I know how her body should work, in inverted commas. There should be the push from the hind leg up through the top line and through and out in the neck. So when I ask her to do that with that groundwork pattern, that turning the hind leg, then she gets that softness and that reach in her body better and better. She starts to learn that's a good feeling to have. It feels actually more natural in her body than the tension cycle that she's been in. So it's really important that when I am helping her with the unraveling of herself, that it's this positive repetition of good patterns that she starts to learn feels better in herself. So here we have it, me taking bigger steps. And you can see, she takes a bigger step with me. This horse hasn't been taught to match my steps. I'm literally just showing her what I want her to do. You see she flicks that left front leg, a little bit like, oh, there's a lot of tension going on. It's hard to release it. So it's, yeah, so interesting to just do as we want them to do. Quite often when I'm riding young horses and they're a bit holding their breath or they're a bit tight, I go in myself, and quite regularly they will do the same thing because they hold their breath when they're tight, much like we do. So if you want to know more about this groundwork business, please head over to my Patreon page. I'll put the link below in the description. There's loads of videos, over 70, and if Blondie is like your horse, then there's videos about Blondie. If your horse is, you know, less vocal, more shut down, there are also videos of like that too. So yeah, I am so pleased with the progress that Blondie is making. And here I am describing the bladder meridian that I was just talking about. But the progress she's making is enormous, and I'm just loving this journey with her, loving this awareness that I am learning about her and that she is learning about me. Just even to be able to touch her back leg like that is a huge thing for her, you know. She could be defensive and not so happy. Right.
So Blondie is also now best pals with Zora, which is so nice. You're having a lovely time, your little girl band. Happy, happy girls. Hi there. So there you have it, what we have been up to with the lovely Blondie so far. I gave her a trot on the hard, just on the soft just now in the arena, and she looks okay, but then definitely when she comes out of the arena onto the hard ground again, she is definitely feeling her feet. So I'm going to make a plan, farrier and vet, and go from there. I just want to make sure that there isn't something that is going to be causing her discomfort long term. So for now, I'm going to give her some pain relief. Oh, there's a van coming up the drive. Blondie, concentrate. Give her some bute. Here, dogs, this way. Come here. Give her some bute today and make sure she's comfortable, and then make a longer term plan, whether we can just get her feet feeling tougher on their own or whether she needs a bit more support. I don't know the answer to that yet. So anyway, there will be lots of me talking about Blondie, but if you do want to follow along with her story more on a day-to-day basis, then please do head over to my Instagram at Miri Hackett. I'd love to have you there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was informative and nice to be back, seeing my face, talking away. I will see you very soon, and hopefully with a positive Blondie update. Oh, these dogs do drive me bonkers. Poor DPD guy. I will be sure to be back with a Blondie update soon. Thank you so much for being here and your patience for sticking around and not unsubscribing. See you guys really soon. Okay, bye.